My name is Christopher Columbus, and my journey began in Genoa, inside my father's busy wool-weaving workshop. All day long, the room filled with the loud clack-clack and thump-thump of the looms. But while my family worked with threads, my eyes were captured by the sea. As I grew older, my brother Bartolomeo and I moved to Lisbon, where we learned the precise and beautiful art of making maps. Every educated person in our time, from the royal advisors to the sailors on the docks, knew the earth was a sphere. No one feared falling off a flat edge into a dark abyss. Instead, our great debate was about size. I spent years studying old texts and charts, convincing myself that the globe was much smaller than the experts believed and that Asia stretched much further east. I was certain that by sailing straight west across the Atlantic, I could find a quick, valuable trade route to the riches of the Indies. My math was bold, but it was deeply flawed. The earth was nearly twice the size I imagined, and a massive landmass lay in my path that I had no idea existed. I took my colorful maps and my ambitious calculations from kingdom to kingdom, looking for support. King John of Portugal said no. The experts in Genoa and Venice turned me down. When I finally presented my plan to the royal court of Spain, their scholars shook their heads. They weren't being foolish, they were mathematically correct. They knew the Atlantic Ocean was vast, and they warned me that my ships would run out of food and fresh water long before we ever sighted Asia. For years, I refused to give up. Finally, in 1492, after a long war finally ended, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain decided to take the gamble. They granted me 3 small, sturdy ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and my flagship, the Santa Maria. Our grand voyage out into the open ocean began. Days turned into weeks, and the true scale of the Atlantic began to reveal itself. My crew's anxiety grew with every sunset. They didn't fear monsters. They feared the trade winds. The breeze blew steadily, relentlessly to the west, pushing us further into the unknown. The men began to whisper in terror that the wind would never shift. They feared we would be trapped in a one-way current, with no way to ever sail back home to Spain. To keep mutiny at bay, I kept a secret logbook, writing down shorter distances than we had actually sailed, so the crew wouldn't realize just how deep into the empty ocean we had sailed. Supplies were dwindling, and hope was nearly gone. Then the sea offered a lifeline. A carved stick and a fresh green branch covered in real leaves floated past the hull. "Look!" we shouted, crowded along the wooden deck. Land was close. On October 12, 1492, our ships dropped anchor beside a lush, sunny island in the Bahamas. My crew and I stepped onto the soft, warm sand, overwhelmed with relief. But we had not landed on an empty shore, nor had we reached the edge of Asia as I stubbornly believed for the rest of my life. From the shadows of the trees, the Taino people emerged to meet us. We stood on the shores of a vibrant world filled with life and people, completely new to Europe, a place we only reached because my mistaken math had led us right into it.